Welcome to another edition of Marion County Espresso TV. I'm your host, Steve Woodhouse, and today I'm joined by Eric Van Clay, the Central College Athletic Director.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we spoke back in the fall, and now we're talking some wrestling.
Yeah.
So this is the first year for women's wrestling.
Yeah.
And they had their first meet at Indianola the other day.
Yeah.
How'd they do?
Very well, and it's exciting, Steve. It's something I get really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
It just I was known for its wrestling, and unfortunately, we are a little bit behind when it came at the high school level to the girls wrestling, and at the college level with the women's wrestling. And I think we're quickly catching up on that. So it is Central's inaugural year with that. We recruited last year and started this year, as you mentioned, in Indianola Saturday, and that's an exciting moment. There's never another first again. So we had, I believe we had 7 or 8 young ladies that were competing over there. Great experience, as far as getting that started. And I've said them numerous times. You're kind of pioneers, right? I mean, you're the first group that's doing this, both in state and out of state, is where students are from. So that's fun to see, and I'm their biggest fan. I'm really excited for them.
How did you hear about the girls wrestlers to recruit them? And
Yeah.
I mean, not many states have girls wrestling.
Well, but believe it or not, Steve, that's kind of the unique thing. When Iowa added it last year, I was actually the 35th state in the country to have it. So there are 34 that had it before us. And, that's unfortunate that Iowa was a little bit later to that agreement. So there are other states that have had girls wrestling at the state level, state sanction level, for some of them 10, 15, 20 years. And I really give our head coach, Coach Paige Baines, a lot of credit of, she's originally from Houston, Texas, and Texas is probably top 2 or 3 in the country for girls wrestling and also women's wrestling. In our last Olympics, we had an Olympic gold medalist that was from Houston, Texas. So there's a nucleus down there, and she really helped us in the recruiting process of where to turn over some rocks and some areas to look at in addition to Iowa. So we're very proud of the young ladies that we have from Iowa, but we also have one from Texas, have one from Washington, have one from Missouri. That's a lot of fun.
And so how many weight classes are there in women's wrestling?
So in women's wrestling, there's 10. Please don't ask me what they are. I don't have them all memorized yet. But there's 10 weight classes in women's wrestling in college. I think the one biggest thing that people would notice if they came from the girls wrestling at the high school level to the women's wrestling at the college level is at the high school level, if you see girls wrestling or boys wrestling, it's going to look the same. It's folk style wrestling. So the point system of 2 for a takedown, 1 for an escape, that is consistent nationwide at the high school level. When you transition from high school to college, the women's wrestling at the college level is freestyle wrestling. Mm-hmm. So totally different point system. In the freestyle wrestling at the college level would go in sync with the Olympic wrestling that we'll see at Paris this year and that kind of stuff. So there is a difference there. Both are really fun to watch. It's just understanding the point system with that.
And so will we have the opportunity to watch them wrestle here at Central?
This year, with us not having all the weight classes covered, they're hitting more tournaments, which would be pretty consistent with what most teams do the first year or two. But definitely working hard in the foreseeable future about getting some home meets once we get more of the roster filled out and that kind of stuff. So we would envision over the next 2 to 3 years, we'd like to get a roster in the upper teens, low 20s, to cover those 10 weight classes. Those would be kind of best practices for other colleges like us. And once we do that and have all the weight classes covered, it'd be fun to get some duels and stuff like that at home. So,
is Central the only American Rivers Conference school doing it this year? Yeah.
So there were actually 5 schools in our conference that added this year, and when people asked me, boy, were you kind of surprised with 5 adding in 1 year? The response is no. I think that was a good addition with it being added at the High School Athletic Association with it. So I really give the Girls High School Athletic Association Iowa a lot of credit of finally sanctioning that and getting that going. And I think the other colleges in the American American Rivers Conference adding that was simply an echo of that to be able to now give those young ladies in our state those opportunities.
And so as far as your roster, are they mostly transfers or freshmen?
So all of ours except one are incoming freshmen. So we have one transfer, but the rest are all incoming freshmen. And in a perfect world, that's that's a great way to go, just so they have the full 4-year experience at Central College. On the flip side of it, it's nice to have a transfer too, who's actually been through it a couple times, who can just show them the ropes and stuff. But it's it's a lot of fun seeing those firsts. It's a lot of fun seeing the smiles on their faces of knowing that they're starting something new for Central College. And that's where I just tell them repeatedly, A, let me know anything I can do to help, but B, just know how proud we are of you. It is hard being the first ones, in any sport. But we're excited about them, and I also think you're seeing growing popularity at the high school level in Marion County and in the region. When you see the Knoxvilles and the Pleasantvilles and the Pellas and the Colfax Mingos, I mean, there's some young ladies there that really had successful seasons last year and high aspirations, and I just think that's awesome. I think that's wonderful to see, and we want to keep them at home and have them come to Central.
Absolutely, and as excited as we are for women's wrestling starting at Central, how's your team doing this year?
They're getting going. So thanks for asking. Our men's season started last Saturday at Stevens Point, Wisconsin. We would be a little bit more on the tournament side first semester than duels. But that being said, we have our first conference duel Wednesday at Nebraska Wesleyan. So every year's a new journey, Steve. You're kind of getting to know them and how the pieces of the puzzle fit together to line up. I really like our work ethic so far. Kind of similar to our women. Really good combination of both in-state and local combined with out-of-state. So we have a 125-pounder and 141-pounder that are both from the Chicagoland suburbs that are just outstanding wrestlers and outstanding young men. And then when you look at our 33-pounders from Grinnell, Brock Beck, our 97-pounder, probably highest ranked guy nationally, is from Newton, Gage Linehan, and along with some other local guys from the Des Moines area and here locally. So that's fun to see. I love it when out-of-state and out-of-region guys come and they get to see Pell and what Marion County is all about. And on the flip side of it, I love keeping hometown at home. So that's fun also.
Absolutely. So when are we going to have the chance to see your guys on the mat here?
Yep. So we will next Thursday. We'll have our first home duel against Coe College. That's usually a pretty exciting rivalry and exciting duel. So that'll be next Thursday at home at Kuiper at 7:00. We'd love for any local fans to come watch. It always gets pretty intense and pretty exciting with that. We've got a tremendous amount of respect for their program, and hopefully they do in return with us. But two very, very talented teams, and I think there'll definitely be some fireworks that night.
Absolutely. The meets I've been here in the past, it's a wild atmosphere, people. You need to come.
Yeah, it really is. And I think we've tried, I give my assistants all the credit in the world. We made a really strong push 4 to 5 years ago of making the atmosphere a really exciting atmosphere for non-wrestling people. So, you're going to see some things different. You're going to see the light shut off, and you're going to see a spotlight on there. You're going to see walkout music for every weight class and every guy, and you're going to see a third grade class from Lincoln Elementary cheering our guys on, Mrs. Dixon's class. I mean, just things that are pretty neat and a lot of fun. So I would really invite any local fans to come check it out. Even if it's your first time going to a college meet, because it is pretty exciting and a lot of fun.
Sure is. Are you going to bring Wartburg, the heavy, into town?
We wrestle actually them. Our conference has a unique situation where you always have half of the teams that you have individual dual meets with, and then half of the teams that are in a pod that you wrestle all on one Saturday. So Wartburg has traditionally been in our pod that we wrestle on that Saturday. So we're up there this year and duel them, and there too a lot of respect for them. For those fans in the area that don't know this, by a significant margin, our conference is the best conference in the country for wrestling, and that's just because we have great wrestling, great support in the state of Iowa, and we think that's awesome. That was part of the reason that brought me to this job 17 years ago, was the competitiveness of our conference. But you really got to bring it, because there's no easy ones. Whether you're going to Lincoln, Nebraska, or Indianola, or Waverly, it's really a tremendous challenge every time, but it's one that we welcome.
So how many years have you coached wrestling now?
So this is my 20th year as a head coach, and 17th year at Central, and it's been a great experience to see how the program has grown. Central had such a tremendous history and tradition in wrestling, along with all their other programs, but in wrestling, and it's been fun to build that back. It's been fun to get the alumni excited about it again. It's been fun to get the program to really matter to a lot of people, both in state and out of state, and we just want to do our part to continue to grow that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, in your role as athletic director, what are other winter sports? How are they looking this year?
It's going to be an exciting winter at Central College. It really is. For those who maybe heard bits and pieces last year but didn't fully follow it, we outstanding men's basketball program, led by a local talent. Van Gorp on the men's side was an All-American last year and is back.
He's a preseason All-American.
Yes, absolutely. And we start, this is Central College in Pella. We start 2 6'11" guys. They're the Twin Towers, and they change the game. You're going to see them block every other shot that goes up, and tremendous rebounders and defense, and that's great to see. His sister Allison is on the women's side of things, So if people came and saw our women last year, very exciting basketball to watch. They push the ball up, high paced. We've got some young local talent, really good freshman class that's exciting to watch. And as much as my 4 o'clock to 5:30 is often taken up by wrestling practice, I just love watching college basketball. I think it's so exciting and so fun, and it's something we're blessed with locally. We have so many good teams in the area, but to be able to go from the high school to go to the college and watch good college basketball is fun. Very high expectations with that. I also, we've got 2 really strong surging cross country programs that both have a shot at making nationals this week at regionals. Probably 2 of the best teams on the men's and women's side that we've had in the last 20 years for cross country. And one of the sports that has to get mentioned because it kind of sneaks up on you is our indoor track. We've had really strong traditions there the last couple of years, and there's kind of a buzz when it comes to our winter sports. So really excited about the basketball programs and also track to see what they got coming down the pike.
So this cold winter, we have plenty of opportunities to come and watch some exciting stuff here indoors.
We do, and for the most part, it offsets your high school schedules. So when you think of your traditional high school basketball with your Tuesday, Friday, and your wrestling matches, on Saturday and tournaments, oftentimes at Central, it's Wednesday for our basketball games. Usually our conference doubleheaders are on Wednesday. Wrestling's traditionally on Thursday, and then doubleheaders on Saturday afternoons for our basketball programs, and along with wrestling. But very, very high expectations. I don't think Coach Steinkamp on the men's side backs away from this, but preseason picked to win the conference. Preseason national tournament contender. I think we feel like we got a shot to get in the national tournament and do that. And like I said, really surging women's program. So it's going to be exciting winter around Kuiper.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Anything else new and exciting you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would really talk about is just some of the renewal of our overall programs. Like I mentioned, cross country Teams have had outstanding seasons. Football 7-2 and finishing up with the last game of the year. Really excited about that, and just some really renewed interest. Very solid fall overall as far as our sports at Central, and exciting winter ahead.
Absolutely.
You got it.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time today, Eric.
My pleasure. Go Dutch.
Go Dutch. Thank you all for joining us as well.
Yep. Thank you.